Sound check, sound check. Check mic 1, 2, 3.
Morning, Chairman.
Mr. Secretary, pwede na ba tayo? Start?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Again, magandang umaga po sa kanilang lahat. The 7th meeting of the Committee on National Defense of the Commission Appointments in the second regular session of the 18th Congress is hereby called to order. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The Committee on National Defense, Commission on Appointments, the Honorable Chairman, Representative Luis John A. Ferrer IV is present. The other officers and members of this committee are Agarao Jr.,
Papin ko dito. Ano ha?
Alvarez Jr.,
Present.
Heron, Go,
Present. Present.
Lacson, Pimentel III,
Present. Present.
Tolentino, Agas,
Ibutang dito. Sa puti dito. May wala nakabit.
Chipeco Jr., Ontiveros, Marcos,
Present.
Noel, Pancho, Po,
Present.
Ramirez Sato,
Present.
Revilla Jr., Villar,
Andito ngayon, dati ang tinabi.
Subiri, Zamora,
Present.
Almario,
Present.
Villanueva, Drilon, Advincula. Mr. Chairman,
Present.
one member, Senator Lacson, is present in person, and 15 are virtually present.
Nakamute. Sorry. With one physically present and 15 virtually present, including the chair, the existence of a quorum is hereby declared.
Mr. Chairman,
Go ahead, Mr. Secretary.
Mr. Chair, I move to dispense with the reading of the minutes of the meeting held on October 7, 2020, and consider the same as approved.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, the same is hereby approved. Good morning once again, nakasama, esteemed members of the Commission on Appointments, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to deliberate on the 29 ad interim appointments and one nomination of senior officers in the Armed Forces of the Philippines that were submitted to the committee's jurisdiction for its consideration. To our officers, please stand up as your name is called. The ad interim appointments of Manuel Arius M. Brasuelo to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army. Edgar G. Manibay to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army. Cesar J. Conte Jr. to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army. Virgilio C. Hamos, Jr. to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army. Darwin F. Hernandez to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army. Renante M. Salvador, the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army. Edwin M. Paredes to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army. Christopher M. Diaz to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army. Emerito D. Pineda to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army. Arnel B. Cabugon to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army. Sofronio G. Abadier Jr. to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army. Marieto R. Pizania to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army. Arthur B. Balunes Jr. to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Air Force. Ramil B. Densing to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Navy Marines. Ferdinand P. Gloria to the rank of Captain, Philippine Navy. Jesse Jovet B. Serbo to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Navy Marines. Federico Vicente M. Alcantara IV, the rank of Captain, Philippine Navy. Judith T. Espejo to the rank of Colonel, Medical Corps. Nelson V. Posadas to the rank of Colonel, Medical Corps. Reynaldo V. Capuz to the rank of Colonel, Medical Corps. Vener C. Malabanan III, the rank of Colonel, Judge Advocate General Service. Ashraf A. Chio to the rank of Colonel, Medical Administrative Corps. Palmer M. Parungao to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army. And Eugenio E. Garcia to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army. And the nomination, William N. Gonzalez to the rank of Major General. Again, the ad interim appointments of Roy Vincent T. Trinidad to the rank of Commodore. Alfonso F. Torres Jr. to the rank of Commodore. Sosimo A. Oliveros to the rank of Brigadier General. Pernil G. Buca to the rank of Major General. And Lionel M. Nicolas to the rank of Brigadier General. Mr. Secretary, kindly report on the jurisdictional requirements and other pertinent information relative to the ad interim appointments and nomination in compliance with the new rules of the Commission and the new rules of the standing committees.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, Your Honors. All the appointees and the nominee have complied with the submission of the documentary requirements as provided for in Section 24, Chapter 6 of the new rules of the Commission. Their ad interim appointments and nomination were referred by the Senate President and CA Chairman Vicente C. Soto III on various dates to the Committee on National Defense pursuant to Section 16, Chapter 5 of the new rules of the Commission, and are published in 2 newspapers of general circulation and broadcast over PTV4 pursuant to Section 2, Article 2 of the new rules of the standing committees. On October 12, 2020, your Commission Secretariat received a letter from the Office of the Deputy Chief of Staff for Personnel, J1, Major General Adriano S. Perez Jr., addressed to the committee chairman, Representative Luis John A. Ferrer IV, requesting for the waiver of personal appearance of Colonel Sofronio G. Abadier Jr., as he was recently released from medical confinement due to COVID-19 and was advised to go on quarantine. Nevertheless, Colonel Abadier Jr. is appearing in today's hearing virtually. There is no opposition filed against any of the ad interim appointments and nomination. That is all, Mr. Chairperson, Your Honors.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Kindly administer the oath to the appointees and the nominee.
Kindly all stand and raise your right hand. Do you all swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this proceeding, so help you God? Mr. Chairman, all the appointees and the nominee are now all under oath.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Secretary. May we now call Major General Fernil G. Buca, the most senior among the officers now under consideration, to please take the seat in front. Okay. The Chair would like to recognize the presence of Senator Francis Tolentino.
Morning, Mr. Chairman. Good morning, colleagues.
Good morning, sir.
Chair would like to give General Buca. Sir, you have the floor if you have any opening statement.
To the members, the honorable members of the Commission of Appointments, good morning, sirs and ma'ams. I am Major General Fernil Buca, Philippine Air Force, currently the Air Force Inspector General of the Philippine Air Force, reporting before the Commission for confirmation. Together with me, sir, are 29 other senior officers who have been appointed by the President to their respective high ranks. We, the members of the AFP appointed by the President, have to be acknowledged and confirmed by the people through the Commission of Appointments, who are the representatives of the people of the Philippines. This process only confirms and further manifests that civilian authority is supreme over the military, and so therefore, I, together with my 29 colleagues in the AFP, respectfully reports before the Commission, because it is our constitutional duty to be subjected on this process. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, General. So the floor is now open for any questions or inquiries to our appointees and nominee. We would like to recognize Senator Bongo, who would like to manifest, and after Senator Bongo, Senator Amy Marcos.
Mr. Chair, I would like to express my deep and utmost gratitude to the members of the Armed Forces, the 30 members whose ad interim appointments will be confirmed and given consent to before us today. I would like to spread into the record my full support for the confirmation of the ad interim appointments of Major General Fernil Buca, Brigadier General Yunel Nicolas, Colonel Edwin Paredes, Colonel Manuel Darius Resuelo, Colonel Edgar Mangabay, Colonel Darwin Hernandez, Colonel Eugenio Garcia, Colonel Christopher Diaz, Colonel Cesar Conte Jr., Colonel Arnel Cabugon, as well as the nomination of Major General William N. Gonzales. Ito pong nabanggit ko ay are my fellow Scout Rangers. Noong 2018 po kasi I was conferred a Scout Ranger honorary membership badge, and I am a lifetime member of the Panther family of the 1st Scout Ranger Regiment, Philippine Army. Saludo po ako sa inyo, ang aking mga kahanay. Salamat po. Gusto ko lang din pong i-commend si Major General William Gonzales, who is the present commander of the 11th Infantry Division, Philippine Army, sa Camp General Rodolfo Bautista in Jolo, Sulu. Buong buo at tiwala ang suporta ko para sa inyo. Kami ni Pangulong Duterte. Alam naman namin that you are qualified for the post in Jolo and will do a great job in restoring and maintaining the safety and security of fellow Filipinos in the province. Dati rin pong commander ng 1st Scout Ranger Regiment ng Philippine Army sa Camp Texon, San Miguel, Bulacan, si Major General Gonzales. At siya mismo nag-confer sa akin pagiging Scout Ranger. My salute to you. Furthermore, I entirely support the confirmation of the ad interim appointments of Colonel Virgilio Ramos Jr., Colonel Renante Salvador, Colonel Emerito Pineda, Colonel Sopronio Abadiel Jr., Colonel Marieto Izanya, Colonel Arthur Balunes Jr., Colonel Ramil Densing, Navy Captain Navy Captain Ferdinand Gloria, Colonel Jesse Jovet Serbo, Navy Captain Federico Alcantara IV, Colonel Judith Espejo, babae po ito. Sana marami pang sumunod sa mga yakap ninyo at dumami pa po ang kababaihan sa ating sandatang lakas. And of course, Colonel Nelson Posadas, Colonel Rinaldo Capus, Colonel Vener Malabanan III, Colonel Ashraf Chio, Colonel Palmer Parungaw, Commodore Roy Vincent Trinidad, Commodore Alfonso Torres Jr., Brigadier General Sosimo Oliveros, and of course, si Major General Fernil Buka. Maraming salamat po sa inyong serbisyo at pagsasakripisyo sa ating bayan at sa ating mga kababayang Pilipino. Talagang wala po itong kapalit o katumbas at dahil dito, ulitin ko po, maraming salamat sa inyong serbisyo. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Maraming salamat po, Senator Bongo. Senator Amy, you have the floor.
Yes, thank you very much. Magpapakwento lang ako, hindi naman ito talagang tanong. For Colonel Jesse Serbo.
Can we invite Colonel Servo? Ayun.
Yes, I'm sure we all remember that Colonel Serbo was honored with a Gold Cross Medal in 2002 for the capture of the spokesman of the Abu Sabaya. So, itatanong ko lang, kung yung lessons learned, as it were, from the operation to capture Abu Sabaya. I know that you operated together with the U.S. Marines. We admire and salute you and your team for that remarkable accomplishment. So I would like to know, just as a Marine, what innovations can you introduce to our own practice today and in your higher position?
Yes, ma'am. To the members of the Commission on Appointments, to the Honorable Senator, one of the lessons learned that we did during this operation is that we need to improvise. We need to mix the different kind of intelligence, human intelligence, technical intelligence, and of course, the operators need to be patient in order to be successful. It took more than 6 months for the operation to become a success. All you have to do is also for the joint cooperations. There's importance that this is important that we have to maintain our relationship with other forces. Of course, we need also, it is important that we have to take advantage of the technology. The one thing that we appreciate that was given to us was the help provided by other counterparts. Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, thank you. I'd just like to have a quick follow-up with that, Colonel Jesse. Yung human intelligence, palagay ko, laban-laban na yung Pilipino dyan. Magaling naman tayo riyan. Pero yung sa technical, anong equipment specifically ang masasabi niyo na kulang talaga sa atin? For the purpose and understanding of the policymakers and budget formulators.
Actually, ma'am, one of the need that we to improve is the use of our drones, the unmanned aerial vehicles that help us so much.
After the drones, hindi ko masyadong marinig yung sumunod.
Ma'am, our recommendation is that one of the things that we did was the use of the unmanned aerial vehicles that identifies the exact location of the target and monitoring.
I see.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, we will keep that in mind and hope to consult with you because we're in the process of providing budgets for the AFP as well as for the entire country and government. So we keep that in mind. Thank you very much, Colonel Servo. I commend your gallantry and courage, and I hope we have more Marines like you. Thank you very much. With that, Mr. Chair, I'd merely like to endorse, in addition to Colonel Jesse Servo, my two kailian from Ilocos Norte, and that will be Brigadier General Leonel Nicolas, and also our colonel in the medical corps, Judith Tomas Espejo. Yun lang po. Salamat.
Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead. Salamat po, Senator Amy. Go ahead po, Senator Lacson.
Yeah, you were involved in the killing of Abu Sabaya, I heard. Okay, I just want to know if the Americans are true to their word. Did they release the reward money? Was it $5 million or $10 million?
I believe, sir, that that reward has not released to the...
I know,
Yes, sir.
but it should go to the informant, di ba?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, ang gusto ko malaman, are they true to their word to release the reward money for the neutralization of Abu Sabaya? Did they release it? As far as you know.
As far as I am I'm in contact with the informant, sir, he has not yet
Ay,
received
nako.
the
I think you owe it to your informant or informants,
Oh.
because it's a fact that a $5 million reward was offered for the capture, dead or alive, di ba?
I believe,
Unless wala kayong informant. Ang ginamit dyan lang, Sigent lang ba ginamit nyo dyan?
we have, sir.
Oh, may informant pala eh.
Yes.
I think the leadership of the armed forces should follow it up. That's all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Senator Lacson. Now the chair would like to recognize the presence of Senator Bong Revilla and Congressman Bem Noel. Morning po.
Mr. Chairman.
Senator Tolentino po. Go ahead, sir.
Mr. Chairman, am I recognized?
Senator Tolentino, go ahead po. Opo, go ahead po.
Yeah, so, Mr. Chairman, just for the record and modesty aside, I just want some historical vignette placed here. Ikaw pala yun, Colonel Servo, because during that fateful day, that was my first time to be in Lamitan, Basilan, when it happened. I was welcomed by my MNSA classmate, General Boy Miranda of Task Force Comet. I was there. We had a meeting with mayors. Together with me was the late mayor of Zamboanga City and other mayors. We had a meeting in Lamitan when that happened. So we abruptly ended the meeting because apparently there was the incident involving the Durham couple. And I can recall that I was invited by Mayor Lobregat to visit the survivor in the hospital in Zamboanga City, but may flight na kami kaya umalis na kami. But I can still remember from anecdotal newspaper reports that the first words that came out of the lady kidnapped victim was, "Did you get him?" Referring to Abu Sabaya. Ikaw ba yung sinabihan nun?
Actually, sir, the rescue of Gracia Burnham and the neutralization of Abu Sabaya is different
Iba
incident,
yon,
sir.
ibang
Iba
team.
incident, sir.
Oo, kasi natatandaan ko noon, nalaglag yung Ray-Ban na sa tubig ni ni Abu Sabaya. Hindi na siya nakita, yung Ray-Ban lang ang nakuha noon di ba? Tama ba ako?
Yes, sir. During the naturalization of Abu Sabaya, sir, only the effects of Abu Sabaya was recovered along the waters of the Triple S, sir, in Zamboanga del Sur.
That I could not forget that fateful day because I was there, I was in Lamitan nung nangyari yung
Yes, sir.
incident na yon. So I congratulate you. Ngayon lang kita nakaharap. I congratulate you and you deserve a confirmation together with the rest of the AFP family here. Naghahanap lang ako ng class 92. Wala pa lang 92 rito. Kasi Senator Lacson, with due respect, sabi nila sa akin, best class daw yung 92. Walang class 92 rito. Kami ni Senator Bongo ang class 92 na adopted. So congratulations Colonel Serbo. I salute you. Ulitin ko, hindi sa pagyayabang, I was there during that fateful moment in Lamitan, Basilan, when that incident transpired. Salamat. Congratulations to all of you.
Thank you, sir.
Maraming salamat po, Senator Tolentino. Thank you, Colonel Servo. Meron pa po ba gusto magtanong? Kung wala na po,
To call, Mr. Chairman,
agad
si Colonel Manuel Darius Mendoza Resuello.
thank you po, Colonel Servo. Colonel Dario. Go ahead, boss.
Good morning, Colonel Resuello. You are presently the Force Commander, Counter-Terrorism Intelligence Force of ISAF.
Sir, I was just relieved Yes.
Wala na.
last 02 October, sir.
October.
Yes, sir.
Anyway, I was about to ask you, di ba yung signal intelligence is an important component of intel gathering?
Yes, sir.
Sometimes even more important than human intelligence, di ba? Kasi accurate ito.
It supports.
And I was about to ask you, if you're familiar with the provision under the newly passed Anti-Terrorism Act of 2020, yung procedure on how to, on how to conduct electronic surveillance. Are you?
I've just read it, sir. But,
You?
I have just read it, sir, but not
Yeah,
so.
kindly inform this committee for
Yes,
the information of the other members.
Yes, sir. That it should be properly authorized, sir. And I have read that it should be granted authority by the court, sir.
About the procedure to be followed. Hindi ka na familiar?
Not yet, not so much, sir.
Anyway, umalis ka na rin pala eh. This question. Scrum.
Thank you. Good morning, sir.
Meron pa po ba, boss? Senator Lacson?
Wala na, na-relieve na pala ito.
Sige po.
Edit itong yung summary of information natin.
Apa. The chair would like to recognize the presence of Senator Risa Hontiveros. Any
Mr.
other
Chairman?
po? Go ahead po. Hindi ko lang makita. Go ahead po.
Mr. Chairman?
Third leader, meron tayo, Senator Bong Revilla is raising his hand. Senator Bong Revilla po, go ahead po.
Mr. Chair, I would like just a short manifestation. Mr. Chair, I would like to commend and express my support to the appointment and promotion of our senior AFP officers. They have proven their worth through many dedicated years of service to the country. They have shown competence, courage, and nationalism throughout their careers. I would like to thank them for their varied contribution in keeping our people safe and our communities peaceful, for their bravery in counterterrorism and anti-insurgency operations and illegal drug campaign, for their compassion during humanitarian assistance and disaster relief efforts, for their sharpness in implementing security operations during high-profile events and transitions of power, and for their reliability in performing their many roles in nation building and social development. Salamat po sa inyong lahat. Saludo po kami sa inyo. Kaya mabuhay po kayo sa ating mga officers. Thank
Salamat
you,
po.
Mr. Chair.
Salamat po, Senator Bong Revilla. Senator Hontiveros po, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Parang nabasa niyo po isip ko. I was just about to raise my hand nung tinawag niyo ako. Marami pong salamat, Mr. Chairman. And I apologize, Mr. Chairman, to the committee and to all the officials present for having arrived late. I just have one question, Mr. Chairman, for Brigadier General Leonel Nicolas, if I may, Mr. Chairman.
Right, good, ma'am.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Magandang umaga po sa inyo, General Nicolas.
Good morning po, Your Honor.
Good morning, sir. Nabasa ko po dito sa record nyo, it is stated here that you spearheaded numerous stakeholder engagements with the MNLF and MILF to call for their commitment to peace and the peace process. With the passage of the Bangsamoro Organic Law, its ratification, and the creation of the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, peace that was once elusive in that part of the country may now be realized. And I would like to appreciate that, Sir General, in the sense na pati po kayo may ambag para dyan. So my only question, General Nicolas, Mr. Chairman, is sa tingin niyo po, how do we sustain this peace and how do we engage the other groups in Mindanao who up to this point still refuse to recognize the peace process? General, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, General.
As far as my area is concerned, ma'am, what we are doing right now is to constantly engage this group, the MILF and the MNLF, so that we'll know what really are their thoughts and their actions in the area. And in fact, they've shown their sincerity in the past event that we have conducted in Sirawai, when we were able to rescue a kidnapped victim that was a Rex triplet together with their troops doon sa area po ng Sirawai. Kaya what we usually is to keep in touch with them, talk to them, and make sure that there'll be no misunderstanding in our actions as far as our operations is concerned.
Maraming salamat, General, para sa inputs nyo sa aming komite at mabuhay po kayo sa inyong mga peace building efforts and peacemaking efforts so far. And I hope that sa mga susunod na taon ng inyong serbisyo sa ating bayan ay mas maging mabunga pa iyon. Lastly, Mr. Chairman, I was so struck by what General Nicolas mentioned about sincerity. Isa sa mga salita na madaling sabihin pero alam siguro ni General, ito isa sa pinakamahirap na makamit at ma-perceive sa isa't isa, lalo na sa mga peace processes, let alone kapag active pa yung armed conflict. Yung confidence building, napaka-importante. Yung sinasabing ang sinseridad ay madalas hinihingi ng isang panig sa kabilang panig at napakahirap kilalanin yun dun sa kabila, lalo na habang magkaaway pa. And it's a very essential resource kapag may kasunduan na or may kapayapaan na, and that now the task is to sustain it as is the case in the BARM. So muli po, General Nicolas, mabuhay po kayo. Maraming salamat sa inyong ambag sa aming committee ngayon. Congratulations on your confirmation and as well my snappy salute. Salamat po, General. Salamat po, Mr. Chairman.
Salamat po, Senator Risa Ontiveros. Now, the chair would like to recognize the presence of Senator Joel Villanueva. Sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Any other?
Mr. Chairman,
Majority Leader?
Mr. Chairman, may I put also on record my personal congratulations to Colonel Edgar Gonzalez Pangantay, who is from the municipality of Manay in Davao Oriental, my province. Now, Mr. Chairman, I don't know, but may it be Major General Buka or whoever. It is with regards to the source of commission. As we all know, most of them, ang source of commission is from the PMA. But there is also other source of commission, Mr. Chairman, like the Republic Act 291, Armed Forces Officer Personnel Act of 1948. I am more interested to know about another source of commission, the Republic Act 2334, or an act providing for the rotation of reserve officers of the armed forces of the Philippines in the active military service. As I said, Mr. Chairman, I don't know who to call to tell us more about Republic Act 2334.
Okay, Majority Leader, can we invite Major General Buka, sir?
Yes.
Yes, General,
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Sir, to tell you frankly, sir, I'm not very familiar on the Republic Act on reserve forces. However, other sources of commission aside from Philippine Military Academy, the AFP has come up with the officer candidate school in recruiting officers also, sir. We are also coming up with yung in the reserve force, the we have also incorporated reserve officers in the officer candidate school for them to be commissioned, sir.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes po.
yeah, since General Buka is not so familiar with Republic Act 2334, as he said, no? Maybe we could ask any of the officers whose source of commission is that Republic Act 2334. I have a few names here. Maybe any of them can reply. Colonel Emerito Dunca Pineda of the Philippine Army, or Colonel Arnel Bagara Cabugon of the Philippine Army, or Colonel Marito Revilla Rizania of the Philippine Army, and Colonel Jesse Jovet Brasileno Serbo, again of the Philippine Navy Marines. All four names that I read, Mr. Chairman, have their source of commission as the Republic Act 2334, an act providing for the rotation of reserve officers of the armed forces of the Philippines in the active military service. Any of the four, Mr. Chairman, or anybody, any officer now before us whose source of commission is Republic Act 2334. Again, I'd like to know more about this RA and how it was applied to them.
Okay, thank you, General. You're now excused. So anyone, any officer who can answer the question of our Majority Leader? Go ahead, Colonel.
Sir, I am a graduate of ABB Political Science, St. Louis, Baguio City. and I applied for the Naval Officers Qualifications course, Charlie. A 4-year baccalaureate degree holder can be commissioned in the Armed Forces Navy. This course, the Charlie, is that you have to undergo with a minimum. During our time, umabot kami sir ng 14 months. Of course, we are trained basic officer's course. Then after graduating from Naval Officer's course, Charlie, we were commissioned in the Philippine Navy. After graduation, sir, we opted if you join the Philippine Fleet or the Philippine Marines. In my case, sir, I joined the Philippine Marines. This program, sir, of NOQC Charlie was now replaced by NOCC, Naval Officers Candidate Course for Philippine Navy. That is the course of the source of my commission. So, actually, sir, we are also inviting graduates of the 4-year course to apply to the Philippine Navy if they want to become a Philippine Navy officer. Then afterwards, they can choose to join the as sailors or as marine with this program, sir. Sir, that's all, sir. Good morning.
Colonel, I think I did not hear your name. Are you Colonel Jesse Serbo?
Yes, sir. I'm Colonel J.C. Jobet Serbo, sir. The Philippine Navy Marines.
Mayong buntag, Colonel.
May buntag, sir.
Okay, so in short, it's a getting in is in the reservist. Kailangan meron kang 4-year course. You're a graduate of a 4-year degree program, and then you go through the reservist programs, and then you get you're appointed as officer after you're done with the trainings. So may I now ask Colonel, as such, do you get equal regular normal pay and benefits of the other given to other officers from different source of commission?
Yes, sir. We are given the same privilege with our regular counterparts. If you're not, the program, sir, for the NOQC Charlie was that if you will be, pag na ano mo yung age requirement, sir, you can be called to active duty as regular if you are younger. But there is that, pag lumampas ka, sir, sa age limit, there's an age limit, then you will be called to active duty as a reserve officer. But when you're already on the active duty, sir, you have the same pay and allowances, same privileges with your regular counterpart. May kunting difference na siguro, sir, because usually, sir, reserve officers are many than the regular officers. So pagdating, sir, ng quota for the promotions, medyo ano, sir, may iwan ka lang ng konti. But at this time, sir, lahat naman ng source of commission, if you have satisfied the requirements, you can still be a regular officer. And you have the same privilege. All you have to do is you have to just compete with your contemporaries to be promoted also. Yan lang, sir. Thank you.
I'm curious, Colonel, no? Can a senator reserve officer be called to active duty? Because Senator Chairman General Tol Tolentino is a general of the Philippine Air Force, I believe. And
Philippine Army, medyo.
I'm sorry, General.
With
Sorry.
Philippine Air Force Cebu Pacific.
No, I'm inviting you. I'm inviting you to join my my unit in the Philippine Air Force. And Colonel, Mayor Duterte is a Colonel Reserve for the Philippine Army. And yan ang tanong ko. Can an elected official like Senator Tolentino be called to active duty?
Sir, I believe the reservists, as they are called, the reservists, can be called to active duty during war, or if the situation dictates. But since there is no, wala naman tayong, we're not on war, sir. The reservists dapat doon lang, sir, sa in the time of war, sir.
How about during martial law? Walang war, pero may martial law. Can the reservists be called to active duty?
Excuse me po. Kung gusto niyo po, we can invite Major General Adriano Perez, yung ating J1, para baka mas masagot ho yung mga tanong niyo.
Andiyan ba siya? Sige. Thank you.
Before we recognize General Perez, we'd like to recognize the presence of Senator Mig Subiri. Good morning po, boss.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir, to the members of the CA, sir. Sir, if the question is regarding the RA 2334, I believe this is a system wherein a reservist officer can be called to active service for 2 years. And after serving for 2 years, sir, he will not be called again to active service after 5 years, sir. However, I believe that since this concern fall under the J9, sir, but I believe that only those that are still qualified by age can be called to active duty, sir. So meaning, if you do not if you have not yet reached the age of 56, and you are a reservist, pwede ka pong pwede ka ma-call to active duty for 2 years. And after that, you will be reverted to inactive service, sir.
Mr. Chairman, with the permission of the Majority Leader.
Go ahead po, Senator Lacson.
Yeah, it goes without saying that Congressman Almario will have to resign from his post as a congressman because you cannot occupy 2 positions, one in the executive and the other in the legislature. So that is my submission. You have to choose between being a congressman and are you a colonel or brigadier general? A colonel. Ayun, mamimili po kayo.
You're asking me?
Yes.
Colonel.
Colonel, yan. Mamimili po kayo. Anong gusto niyo, maging colonel o maging congressman?
Ayan.
Given the opportunity, I'd rather be the staff of Senator Lacson. Okay, 56 years old, ano? And again, it follows that si Senator Tolentino will still have about 5 years before he will be disqualified by age.
The Majority Leader is really inclined on joining the Philippine Air Force active service. He's now abandoning the Cebu Pacific.
Teka.
I think Mr. Chair, the initial line of questioning of the Majority Leader is how to enable his constituents to join the Armed Forces of the Philippines via a different pathway, not through the Philippine Military Academy, but through the Reserve Force. And it probably opens the box now to another question. I can read the mind of Congressman Almario as to the viability of reviving the ROTC. So, yun po siguro yung gusto. Naligaw lang siya doon sa Cebu Pacific and others. Yun siguro yung gusto niyang tanungin. Paano mabibigyan ng puwang yung mga kababayan niya na makapasok sa Armed Forces of the Philippines, not through the Philippine Military Academy, because I recall during the previous hearing, he was asking about the quota system that would enable his congressional district, with the permission of Congressman Almario, to have a cap similar to done decades ago, slots provided for that would enable his constituents and other congressmen as well to have constituents automatically be part of the PMA family. Yun siguro po yung tanong with the permission of Congressman Almario.
Yes, sir. I believe that we value those who take up the ROTC, sir, and if they are not qualified to join the military through PMA, they can have after having completed the ROTC, sir, they can have the TOTC program, sir. However, when they are commissioned, they are commissioned as a reserve officer, sir. Wherein after every 3 years, he has to apply for RECAD, sir. Only after 10 years, he be given the security of tenure, sir. So that's the difference, sir. If you pursue ROTC, then to be commissioned in the active service, yun lang po ang mga ano niya that you have to satisfy that every 3 years magpapa-RECAD ka, sir. And then you can only be given the security of tenure after serving 3 years, sir. And we are practicing RA 2334 right now, sir. There are some reservists who are being commissioned for 2 years, then they get to inactive status after serving for 2 years, sir.
Okay, kung...
Thank you, J1, no? Mr. Chairman, wala na siguro?
Yes, sir.
Ano po, sigado kayo?
Mr. Chairman?
Go ahead. Ay, Ma'am Risa, before po kayo...
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Andito lang po si Congressman Joaquin Chipeco. Good morning po, boss. Go ahead po, ma'am.
Forgive me, Mr. Chairman. I do have just a couple more questions kung maaari po.
Opo, pwede po.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. For Brigadier General Oliveros, and then after him, a similar question for Commodore Torres, Mr. Chairman, if I may. Salamat po. Magandang umaga po, General Oliveros. Sir, I noted in the background information on you that you were awarded with a Gawad sa Kaunlaran Medal in 2011 for your vital role in the conduct of border patrols between the Philippine Navy and the Indonesian Navy and the repatriation of Filipino fishermen from Indonesia. So yung tanong ko po, Mr. Chairman, General Oliveros, ay even beyond yung resolving and avoiding conflicts between our fisher folk and the fisher folk of other claimant countries in the West Philippine Sea or even in the whole South China Sea, and then facilitating yung ganito nga pong mapahiyapang pag-uwi pa rin nung ating mga mangingisda sa mga ganyang kaso na tayo ang may sala. I'm wondering, General Oliveros, Mr. Chairman, if you could share with the committee yung reflections po ninyo in terms of the value of this conduct of joint patrols, especially among the claimant countries in the West Philippine Sea. Dahil din po, General, sa interest ko na, well, nag-advocate po ako ng joint patrols talaga bilang bahagi ng rules-based na pag-manage natin sa West Philippine Sea, including vis-a-vis China, General, Mr. Chairman.
Magandang umaga po, ma'am.
Magandang umaga po.
Yung border patrol, ma'am, is part of the Indonesia-Philippines bilateral exercise.
Opo. Yung kapipirma lang po, General, no, mga a year ago, tama po ba?
Yes, ma'am.
Opo. Please proceed, sir.
So, nagkaroon ng border patrol exercise between the Indonesian Navy and the Philippine Navy. I am part of the delegation while I was still in the Eastern Mindanao Command. So nakasama po kami doon and in coordination with our consulate office in Indonesia. So, nagiging dual na yung purpose, hindi lang sa exercise, kundi nag-request yung consulate natin, consular office natin sa Indonesia na i-accommodate na rin yung mga fisherman natin na nahuli doon sa Indonesia. And it so happen na meron ngang isang nasawi. So, in-accommodate yun ng Navy contingent natin. At nagkaroon ng negotiation doon. At very happy naman yung Navy at very appreciative din yung consulate natin doon dahil na-facilitate nga natin yung pagbalik ng ating mga kapatid na fishermen, especially yung nasawi na isang fisherman doon sa Indonesia, ma'am.
Opo, General. Salamat po. Sa ganung karanasan po, may nakikita ba kayong mahalagang leksyon para sa ating pakikipag-ugnayan sa iba't ibang navies ng mga claimant countries sa West Philippine Sea? At in terms of po, siguro yung, of course, peaceful coexistence sa pagitan ng mga iba't ibang claimant countries. At kung, well, actually, ang wina-wonder ko, General, baka pwedeng confidence-building exercise ito tungo sa sama-sama ding peaceful as much as possible at effective na engagement sa China.
Yung pakiusap, ang usapan kasi natin sa mga fishermen natin, ma'am, ang sabi nila, yung napagkukunan nila ng isda is papunta na pala ng part ng Indonesia. So doon sila nahuli. At nangyari nga yung may namatay sa kanila, pero naayos din sa isang diplomatic na usapan.
Opo.
So, sa mga ganyang pangyayari, nagkaroon tayo ng karanasan na sana yung mga fisherman din natin ay bibigyan natin ng magandang i-remind natin sila. And then, yung mga agencies din natin na involved sa mga diplomacy na ganyan ay magkaroon ng ugnayan para kung sa ganun maiwasan na yung mga ganong pangyayari.
Opo. I share that hope, General. Maraming salamat po. And further, Mr. Chairman, I'm hoping na yung ganyang mga positive experiences ng diplomasya between and among the different claimant countries in the West Philippine Sea ay in a way, sanay din sa ating lahat how also to diplomatically and effectively engage with China dun sa karagatang iyon. Salamat po, General Oliveros. Congratulations po in advance. And yes, as always, sa mga Cavalier, my snappy salute. Mr. Chair, if I may, a similar question to Commodore Flores.
Mr. Chair, one
yes,
last
Mr. Chair.
question with the permission of Senator Risa.
Go ahead po.
Kay General
Yes, of
Alberto.
course, Mr. Chair.
Pasensya na po kayo kasi hindi ko nahabol si Senator Ontiveros with the permission of this body. Isang tanong lang po kasi the other day it was reported that, and this is a policy question, parang gusto na rin ni Defense Secretary Lorenzana na armahan yung ating mga mangingisda. Gawin na rin nating milisya, parang yung milisya ng China sa West Philippine Sea. So, hindi ko tatanungin kung sangayon ka dyan. I don't want to put you in a hot spot. Perhaps the Philippine Navy officials here can respond. I don't want you to intervene in a matter that is probably beyond the scope of your current duties. Makakatulong ba ito kung sakaling, kung ayaw mo sumagot, okay lang. Makakatulong ba kung bigyan na rin natin ng sariling armas yung ating mga mangingisda, bigyan na rin natin ng sariling mga radio, may sariling bandwidth, mag-uusap sila. Kasi ganun ang ginagawa nung milisya nung kabila. Makakatulong ba yon? Kung ayaw mo sagutin, okay lang.
just recently, sir, we have discussed about the possible formation of organization of what we call this maritime the captive, the CAFGO Active Auxiliary. Yung i-state na magkaroon din ng KAA for maritime purposes. Yun ang isa sa mga pinag-aaralan ngayon, sir. At on the planning stage, on the yun lang, tinitingnan kung paano at saan kukunin yung budget na yun. Pero pinag-aaralan na yun yan at nakikita na malaki rin siyang tulong sa, lalo na sa tayo, malawak yung archipelagic tayo. So kung mayroon tayong CAFGO Active Auxiliary sa interior areas, sa kanayunan, so tinitingnan din na dapat mayroon din tayong CAFGO Active Auxiliary sa maritime areas para makakatulong po.
Lalo na siguro sir, pag may bagyo, masama ang panahon, sila na yung magtutulungan, pwedeng warningan na yung ibang mangingisda na wag na kayong lumabas, pumalaot dahil masama ang panahon. Siguro ganun yung tinutukoy mo, sir.
Yes sir, ganun na rin kasi sa ngayon ang tinitingnan is yung pag-organize is dahil yung army yung may experience about CAFGO. Siguro ang organization or is the army, pero yung magkaroon ng operational control sa kanila ay siguro ibibigay sa Philippine Navy.
Salamat sir, salamat. Ayoko nang pahabain to. Salamat sir.
Thank you po. Go ahead po, Senator Rita.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For the record lang po, yung issue po yan, lumabas din nung pagdinig namin sa Senado ng budget ng DND. Binanggit po ni FOIC, Joby Bacordo. At nung binanggit nga nila iyon, sinabi ko nga na, well, I hope that this is not a done deal, that there will be a reconsideration. Ang nabanggit ko lang kay FOIC, Joby Bacordo, ay medyo unfortunate yung term na CAFGO dahil sa karanasan sa martial law. But I think more substantively this morning, Mr. Chairman, speaking as a civilian, pero speaking also as a legislator na tulad ng marami sa atin nakikipagtrabaho sa mga batayang sektor at bilang legislator din na sumusuporta sa security sector reforms at advocate ng gunless society, which at the minimum means naniniwala ako na dapat sana ang nagdadala lang ng armas sa ating bansa ay ang AFP at PNP. Mababahala talaga ako kung itutuloy na armasan yung ating mga mangingisda. Sana po hayaan na hindi sila armado, patuloy silang mangisda, pero ang i-beef up natin ng capacity ay ang ating Navy at saka Coast Guard na halimbawa ma-escort nila yung ating mga mangingisda dun sa mga contested or threatened areas para makapangisda sila free from harassment and bullying, especially by China. Kung armasan pa natin yung ating mga mangingisda, baka lalo lang silang maging target, no, ng bullying ng China or kahit ng iba. Baka kung armado sila noon, pa sa isa sa kababayan natin ang napatay nung nagkaroon ng away between the Philippine and Indonesian fisherfolk. Just for the record, Mr. Chairman. So, Mr. Chair, if I may ask the similar question I asked of Brigadier General Oliveros to Commodore Torres, Mr. Chairman.
Well, invite
Salamat.
Torres po.
Salamat, Mr. Chairman. Magandang umaga po, Commodore Torres.
Your Honor, good morning.
Good morning, sir. I read here that you were awarded a Distinguished Service Medal in 2018 and that you successfully directed your unit in supporting the territorial defense operations and maritime domain awareness, focusing on maritime security to monitor intrusion of undesirable foreign entities in the Philippine Exclusive Economic Zone. Commodore, marami po kami dito ay talagang interesado na itaguyod yung Philippine Exclusive Economic Zone bilang exclusive nga sa ating bansa. So, my single question to you this morning, Commodore, is kung anong may input ninyo sa aming komite in terms of, the importance of itong mga TDO at saka MDA focused on maritime security in order to prevent, indeed, monitor and prevent the intrusion of undesirable foreign entities sa ating EEZ. Commodore, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, ma'am. Again, good morning. When I received that award, I was the operations officer of the Philippine Navy. And bulk of my job is to orchestrate the operations, per se, of the operating units of the Philippine Navy. One of the strategies that the Navy has today is the active archipelagic defensive strategy, wherein we are constantly engaged with maritime cooperation with other countries. And we enhance our maritime domain awareness capability and, of course, our maritime security operations. These three pillars of our strategy is basically geared towards territorial defense and our international engagement as part of the key mission areas of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. So, by and large, we do not only operate by ourselves, but we engage our counterparts and even our civilian counterparts in order for the Philippine Navy to contribute for the accomplishment of the AFP's mission as far as territorial defense operations is concerned.
Thank you, Commodore, and thank you, Mr. Chairman. I really appreciate Commodore, Mr. Chairman, the good Commodore's comments, not only about those three areas na sinakop nung kanyang pinamunuan noon, kaya sila ginawaran ng Distinguished Service Medal, but also bringing those three areas up from the national level to the international, dun sa pagbibigay halaga nila sa international engagement. It gives me greater confidence, Mr. Chairman, that with such inputs from the Philippine Navy and the AFP, na ma-encourage natin yung DND not to leave this articulation of foreign affairs, lalong-lalo na po sa exclusive economic zone natin o sa buong West Philippine Sea, not to leave it to the DFA alone. Importante po yung tambalan pareho ng national defense at saka foreign affairs departments. So maraming salamat po, Commodore Torres, for your very illuminating comments. It's one of the comments today that has most made my participation in the hearing of our committee under the able leadership of our chairman really worthwhile. And I'm so glad, Mr. Chair, na nakahabol ako pagkatapos ng aking pasensya po pagka-late to hear those comments from Commodore Torres. Congratulations, sir. Mabuhay po kayo, Commodore Torres, and once again, my snappy salute.
Thank you very much, Risa.
Thank you, sir. Yes, Mr. Chair.
Apologies of my distinguished colleague, Senator Risa. If I may just ask one question to Commodore Torres.
Of course, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead po, Senator Joe.
Mr. Chairman, first of all, let me commend our nominee and join my distinguished colleague, Senator Risa, for commending Commodore Alfonso Torres Jr. I am fully supporting your confirmation, sir, and I was listening attentively to the question raised by our distinguished colleague. I remember encountering an article that talks about the Philippine Navy raising concerns about Sangley Point International Airport project due to security issues, with the contractor. I think the Chinese communications construction company, and the removal of naval forces at the mouth of Manila Bay. May I just ask, perhaps my first question would be if the Commodore can give us an update on the proposed Sangli reclamation project o kung may alam po siya tungkol dito. And number two, yung concern natin lahat, I'm sure, no, the potential security threats posed by the entry of a foreign contractor in the reclamation project. And I thought this would be an interesting issue that we can raise and get the insights of our dear Commodore. Sir?
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, as far as I am concerned, with regard to the development of Sally Point as a international airport, as far as I know, there are a lot of activities already going on pertaining to the development of the area, but I have no definite knowledge on the design. But all I know is that the western part of the Sangli Point will be retained to the Philippine Navy, and the airport side will be developed by Department of Transportation. But the future, I have read about the future development, which is Sangli Point will be linked with the Cavitex and the area of
Transfer, I'm sorry, so the planned transfer of Navy facilities from its present location, hindi naman po yun maapektuhan or what's gonna happen?
Sir, there are no discussions yet with regard to the transfer of the Navy from Sangli Point. But there are news coming out that the whole Sangli Point will be taken from the Navy.
Well, I think it's very important that our Philippine Navy will be consulted properly with regard to this issue. This is very important. And perhaps, Mr. Chairman, I don't want to take long in this interjection. I just wanted to get the thoughts of our nominee with regard to the security issues. Yung binabanggit niyo po, perhaps what is or how strategic is Sangli Point to our national security, and with this development, wala naman ho ba kaming dapat ipangamba o a great concern tungkol po dito sa issue na ito, especially as I mentioned earlier, I encountered an article, Philippine Navy raising some concerns about the Sangli International Airport and security issues with the contractor, this foreign contractor, Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
General?
If I was heard, Mr. Chairman.
General?
Can
you answer
I
that?
speak?
Yes,
Can I
sir, go
answer,
ahead po.
Sir, this is actually guarding the political center of gravity of the Philippines, which is Manila, wherein the executive, legislative, and the judiciary, or the three pillars of our government, are located. And the only point of the Philippine Navy is for us to be able to contribute to the safety and security of our political center of gravity, which is located in Manila. That's the point. The Navy, I think, was not consulted about that project in Cavite City, in Sangli Point. That is why it's just now that the flag officer in command, Philippine Navy, is coming out with his with the Navy's stand that we cannot really afford to vacate Sangli Point, taking into account the security requirement of the seat of government.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, thank you, Commodore Torres. We just want to put on record that this is very important issues, and it's a great concern, not only I'm sure of this representation, but to all of us. And Commodore Torres, kung hindi kayo na-consult ng DOTR tungkol dito, meron po kayong mga kakampi sa Senado tsaka sa Kongreso, and please give us your concerns, and we will air it out, and we'll make sure, Mr. Chairman, that the concerns of our Philippine Navy is prioritized, Mr. Chair. Thank you again, and advance congratulations, sir.
Okay, thank you
Thank you,
po.
Your Honor.
Before we continue, Senator Risa, we would like to recognize po the presence of Senate President Vicente Soto III, sir, and Senator Franklin Drilon.
Mr. Chair.
Good morning po, Senator Risa.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And actually, thank you, Senator Joel, for interjecting. I support the sense of Senator Joel, Mr. Chairman, about how strategic that issue is that he raised with the good Commodore. Just for my last question, Mr. Chairman, to another Commodore, Commodore Trinidad, if I may, Mr. Chairman.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Salamat, Mr. Chairman. Magandang umaga po, Commodore Trinidad.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, sir. I read here in the information about you that you were awarded with a Distinguished Service Star in 2019 and were recognized for successfully initiating the Philippine Navy's first ever participation in the largest international maritime warfare exercise, the Rim of the Pacific, last 2018. I confess, Commodore, I'm more interested in peace than in war, but I'm always proud when our Navy or the whole armed forces of the Philippines are engaged in pioneering activities like this. At yung syempre, dagdag na interest ko dito sa mga international maritime exercises, whether on warfare or on other matters na pumapailalim sa bansa natin sa karagatan. So my single question to you, Commodore Trinidad, is based on your experiences in that Rim of the Pacific in 2018, ano po yung nakikita nyong halaga sa ganitong hindi lang bilateral, ano po, but multilateral exercises? Again, with my keenest interest on the different claimant countries in the West Philippine Sea, at pati na siguro sa mga naval powers na dapat sa tingin ko lang po ay makapagpatuloy ng freedom of navigation operations nila kahit dito sa bahagi ng ating karagatan, Commodore, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
The Rim of the Pacific exercise, or RIMPAC, is the world's largest naval exercise. It is conducted every 2 years in Hawaii by the U.S. Indo-Pacific Command. In 2018, it was the first time the Philippines, through the Philippine Navy, participated in RIMPAC. When I assumed as the N3 in 2016, I told the office to plan for the Philippine Navy and eventually the AFP through a joint contingent to participate in this largest naval gathering worldwide. It would be a coming out party of the AFP that we are slowly having the exit strategy for internal security operations and looking at the bigger security environment at the regional and maybe even at the global level. We learned a lot at RIMPAC 2018. As a follow-up to that, ma'am, we also sent another ship, FF-150, our newest frigate, and they arrived only 2 weeks ago for RIMPAC 2020. Among the key takeaways for RIMPAC 2018 was that it allowed the AFP to look at what capabilities we need to develop. And we are proud to say that the AFP, the Philippine Navy, was able to be at par given the limited resources that we have. We were able to participate, to plug and to play, so to speak, with the premier navies of the world. It was a proud moment for the Philippine Navy in particular and the AFP in general, ma'am.
Mabuhay, Commodore.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Please proceed. If that is it,
Likewise,
sir.
as you mentioned
Yes,
about
please.
the freedom of navigation and a rules-based approach or a rules-based
Exactly,
international
sir.
order in the West
Yes.
Philippine Sea. Participating in activities like this would allow us the opportunity to show that we are a reliable partner in regional security.
Yes.
We have been pushing for a rules-based approach in the West Philippine Sea as a confidence-building measure for all claimant countries. The Philippine Navy has been pushing for our presence very strongly in West Philippine Sea.
Yes, sir.
Only recently we were able to, the AFP and the Department of Defense was able to inaugurate structures on our occupied islets and shoals in the West Philippine Sea. It is a very strong message to the Filipino people that we are serious in protecting what is ours.
Yes. Thank you so much, Commodore. I'm not trying to play favorites, Mr. Chairman, pero very fulfilling po talaga marinig yung mga inputs ng ating mga Philippine Navy and of course Marines officers here today. I thank the good Commodore Torres for many, I'm so sorry, yes, Commodore, I'm so sorry, Commodore Trinidad. I thank the good Commodore Trinidad for the many significant points that he made to our committee, Mr. Chairman, including the mention of our Philippine Navy's and AFP's engagement with the Indo-Pacific Command. Kasi alam naman po natin na bukod sa ASEAN, yung isang strategic or potential strategic ka-engage is that newly forming Quad, which they say made up of the US, Australia, India and Japan, na avowedly ang layunin nila ay to provide also a rules-based order sa Indo-Pacific naman. I also appreciated, Mr. Chairman, yung banggit ni Commodore Trinidad dun sa exit strategy sa internal security operations. I really feel it's an important matter, hindi lang po para sa human rights, para sa peace processes, pero sa overall security sector reforms, yung patuloy na pag-develop natin ng hindi lang reformed pero modern armed forces at saka national police, yung ganyang division of labor, internal security primarily to the national police and indeed external defense bilang bahagi ng ating international relations to the armed forces. So magandang makita po, Mr. Chair, yung ganitong mga exit strategy, mapupulsahan natin dyan yung dynamism ng AFP sa focus at pag distinguish din sa mga sa kumbaga core business niya. I hope the good Commodore Trinidad won't mind me asking, ano po yung term na ginamit niyo? Plug and play o flag and play? Ano po yun? Yung sinabi niyo we were able to engage with the other navies at par?
Plug and play, ma'am.
Plug and play. All right, sir. I'm just noting it just for curiosity and for my learning. Nakakatuwa po to keep on learning about this. And yon for the many other and then the points of pride now and even more so in the near future, Mr. Chair, about the Navy and the AFP being able to reflect to the other Asia-Pacific countries yung pagiging reliable partner natin sa regional security, yung pagpapahalaga sa confidence-building measures. So, equally important whether sa peace processes or ganito, having a defensive capacity, hoping not for war, but being prepared. And most of all, or lastly, Commodore Trinidad, yung sinabi nyo about the continuation of building of structures on our occupied islands. And yung sinabi nyo, yung serious intention ng Navy at ng AFP to defend what is ours. And, bilang kababayan nyo na nagtatrabaho din sa gobyerno, I really appreciate that. At sigurado ko na-appreciate ng lahat naming mga sibilyang Pilipino. So, yun lang po, Commodore Trinidad and Mr. Chairman, maraming salamat po. Mabuhay po kayo. And as I never tire of saying to Cavaliers, pasensya na if I focus on the Navy and Marines today, Mr. Chair. Dahil Navy Marines din po yung youngest brother ko. He also has two other mistas being confirmed today, Mr. Chairman, or three rather, Colonel Christopher Diaz, Philippine Army, Colonel Ramil Densing of the Philippine Navy Marines, and Captain Ferdinand Gloria of the Navy. To all of you, and especially at this moment to you, Commodore Trinidad, my snappy salute. Salamat, Commodore, at salamat, Mr. Chairman.
Salamat po, Senator Risa.
Salamat
Any
po.
other member po who is the question or appointees and nominee? Being, I think there's none.
Mr. Chairman, sorry.
Sorry po. Senator Coco Pimentel, you're recognized.
Just to the same Commodore, because I think he answered, he mentioned about limited resources. Are we buying submarines, sir? Is that correct? I got information that we're buying submarines.
Sir, the plan in developing our capability includes submarines, but it will take a long time, a lot of resources. Before we get to the actual purchase of the submarine, training, the support capability, the bases for the submarines. It's part of the plan, but maybe on the second or the third horizon, sir.
A part of the plan, but no actual steps taken to purchase the submarine. Kasi medyo nagdududa ako, dapat siguro some vessels which can be seen, not the unseen vessels.
Sir, the first step includes doctrine development on how to use, how to maintain, how to employ submarines. We are there right now, developing doctrines for submarine or subsurface warfare.
Okay, pero wala pang gastos na we have made a down payment, wala pang ganun, ano?
Wala pa, sir.
Okay, sige. So nasa long-term plan pala. So,
Mr. Chairman, just a follow-up.
yes, sir.
But is the purchase or procurement of a submarine included in the third horizon or horizon 3 ng AFP modernization?
Yes,
Kasama
sir.
na?
Yes, sir. I think in the third horizon, sir.
Yeah, but you're still below halfway of horizon 2.
Yes,
so when will that be?
I think, sir,
2027?
2027.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, so at least it's only in the plans because ako ang feeling ko ngayon we should be buying vessels which can be seen. Anong term doon, Commodore?
Subsurface warfare, sir. Undersea warfare.
Surface. So subsurface na submarine, so surface vessels. So that should be the priority in my opinion. So thank you, sir. Thank you for the clarification, Commodore. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sir. Thank you also.
Thank you, Commodore. Chair would like to recognize the presence of Congressman Apple Pancho. Another member? Majority Leader?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, if there are no other members who wish to ask and raise questions to our nominees, Mr. Chair, I move that the committee recommends to the plenary the confirmation of 29 ad interim appointments and to give its consent to one nomination of senior officer in the armed forces of the Philippines. I so move, Mr. Chair.
Is there an objection? Hearing none, the motion is hereby approved.
Chairman, there being no other matters to discuss, I move to adjourn the meeting.
An objection? Hearing none, motion of the Majority Leader, the meeting is hereby adjourned. Thank you po and congratulations po sa kanilang lahat.
Please remain standing for the singing of the Philippine National Anthem.
Bayang magiliw, perlas ng sila ay buhay, lupang hinirang, duyan ka ng magiriting sa manlulupig. Di ka pasisiin sa dagat at bundok, sa simoy at sa langit mong bahaw. May dilagang tula at awit sa paglayang minamahal. Ang kislap ng watawat mo'y tagumpay na nagniningning. Ang bituin at araw niya kailan pa may di magdidilim. Lupa ng araw ng walhatit pagsinta, buhay ay langit sa piling mo. Aming ligaya na pag may mga api, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
Thank you. The Secretary will please call the roll.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. The honorable members of the Commission on Appointments, Advincula, Agarao Jr., Mario, Alvarez Jr.,
Present.
Cagas, Chepeco Jr.,
Present.
Drilon, Ferrer IV, Peron, Go,
Present.
Ontiveros,
Present.
Lacson, Marcos, Noel, Pancho,
Present.
Pimentel III,
Present.
Present.
Ramirez Sato,
Present.
Revilla Jr.,
Present.
Tolentino, Villanueva,
Present.
Villar, Zamora,
Present.
Subiri.
Present.
The chairperson is present.
With 2 physically present, 22 virtually present, with a total of 24, the chair declares the existence of a quorum. At this point, the chair yields to the vice chairman as acting chairman, the Representative Rani Zamora. You have the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Majority Leader.
Mr. Chairman, thank you. Mr. Chair, I move that we dispense with the reading of the journal of the plenary session held on October 7, 2020 and consider the same approved.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, we may now proceed to consider the recommendation of the Committee on National Defense on the ad interim appointments and nomination of 30 senior officers in the Armed Forces of the Philippines. I so move.
Any objection? Hearing none, the consideration of the recommendation of the Committee on National Defense is in order. Majority Floor Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. At this juncture, I move that the chairperson of the Committee on National Defense, Representative Luis John Ferrer IV, be recognized.
The Chairman of the Committee on National Defense, Representative Luis John A. Ferrer IV, is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Your Honors, this morning, your Committee on National Defense conducted a hearing to deliberate on the ad interim appointments and nomination of 30 senior officers of the Armed Forces of the Philippines. It has been determined by your committee that all of them are all fit, qualified, and all of them proved that they possess the fitness, competence, integrity, and other qualifications to hold the ranks to which they were appointed ad interim and nominated. Thus, your committee ruled to recommend to the plenary the confirmation of the ad interim appointments and for the commission to give its consent to the nomination of these senior officers. Mr. Chairman, may I then move that the commission gives its consent to the nomination and confirms the ad interim appointments of 30 senior officers in the Armed Forces of the Philippines, namely Fernil G. Buca to the rank of Major General.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
William N. Gonzalez to the rank of Major General.
Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is approved.
Roy Vincent T. Trinidad to the rank of Commodore.
Any objections?
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, not an objection at all. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. But just to put on the record, as for all the officers today, officials being confirmed, my support for the confirmation of Commodore Roy Vincent Trinidad. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Antiveros. Mr. Chairman, please continue.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any objections?
Alfonso.
Yes, please.
Thank you po. Alfonso F. Torres Jr. to the rank of Commodore.
Any objections?
Chairman?
Yes, Senator Antiveros.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Likewise, as for all the officials being confirmed today, may I make of record my support for the confirmation of Commodore Alfonso Torres Jr. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Chairman, please continue.
Thank you po. Lionel M. Nicolas to the rank of Brigadier General.
Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is hereby approved.
Zosimo A. Oliveros to the rank of Brigadier General.
Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is hereby approved.
Manuel Darius M. Rosuelo to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army.
Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is hereby approved.
Edgar G. Mangabay to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army.
Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is hereby approved.
Cesar J. Conte Jr. to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army.
Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is hereby approved.
Virgilio C. Ramos Jr. to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army.
Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is hereby approved.
Darwin F. Hernandez to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army.
Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is hereby approved.
Renante M. Salvador to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army.
Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is hereby approved.
Edwin M. Paredes to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army.
Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is hereby approved.
Christopher M. Diaz to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, the motion is hereby approved.
Palmer M. Parungao to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army.
Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is hereby approved.
Emerito D. Pineda to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army.
Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is hereby approved.
Arnel P. Cabugon to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army.
Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is hereby approved.
Sofronio G. Abadier Jr. to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army.
Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is hereby approved.
Marieto Z. R. Pizania to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army.
Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is hereby approved.
Eugenio E. Garcia to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Army.
Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is hereby approved.
Arthur B. Balunes Jr. to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Air Force.
Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is hereby approved.
Ramil B. Densing to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Navy Marines.
Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is hereby approved.
Ferdinand P. Gloria to the rank of Captain, Philippine Navy.
Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is hereby approved.
Jesse Jovet B. Serbo to the rank of Colonel, Philippine Navy Marines.
Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is hereby approved.
Federico Vicente M. Alcantara IV to the rank of Captain, Philippine Navy.
Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is hereby approved.
Vener C. Malabanan III to the rank of Colonel, Judge Advocate General Service.
Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is hereby approved.
Nelson V. Posadas to the rank of Colonel, Medical Corps.
Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is hereby approved.
Judith T. Espejo to the rank of Colonel, Medical Corps.
Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is hereby approved.
Reynaldo V. Capuz to the rank of Colonel, Medical Corps.
Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is hereby approved.
And Ashraf A. Chio to the rank of Colonel, Medical Administrative Corps.
Any objections? Hearing none, the motion is hereby approved. Majority Floor Leader.
Thank you,
Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman.
Sorry.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chairman, may I be recognized?
Yeah,
for
Yes,
accuracy of our
Senator
records. Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. For accuracy of our records, two senior officers were not considered or were not, the confirmation of two senior officers were not approved by this commission, probably due to the interjection and manifestation of Senator Ontiveros. So that's what the stenographic notes reveal as per the Secretariat. So just to make accurate our records, Mr. Chairman, may I ask the committee chairman to repeat the motions for Commodore Roy Vincent Trinidad and Commodore Alfonso Torres.
Mr. Chairman.
Hindi po na-action na ng commission. Thank you.
Sorry ha. Thank you, Senator Lacson, for this.
Mr. Chairman.
repeat na lang para ma-approve natin.
Yes, Senator Ontiveros.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. No, this is just a point of clarification and if necessary, an apology to the committee and to the officers concerned. I thought that I was merely manifesting my support and not an objection to the confirmation of the said officers. And I had no intention of having the effect that Senator Ping is reminding us about. So I just want to clarify if that was indeed the effect of my expression of support, because if so, I sincerely apologize to the committee and to both Commodore Trinidad and Commodore Torres, Mr. Chairman.
It is not your fault, Your Honor. It's just an oversight
Mr. Chairman,
on the part of the Vice Chairman, the presiding officer, not to ask the question, any objections.
Mr. Chairman, that's exactly what I heard. Mr. Chairman, just to add to Senator Risa Ontiveros, Mr. Chairman, that is exactly what I heard. Hers was a motion to support, sort of like a manifestation of support, Mr. Chair.
So just to
Yes,
correct the
I made
records.
a mistake.
Mr. Chair,
I
Mr.
did not
Thank you,
ask.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr.
I did
Chairman,
not
Mr.
ask
Chairman.
for.
It's just a matter of
Yes.
repeating the motion of the chairman of the committee so the commission proper can act accordingly.
Okay.
All that I'm
I
asking.
understand, Mr. Chairman, and I submit. Thank you so much to Senator Ping for putting my heart at ease that I did not somehow throw a wrench
No, it
into
is
this
not
most
your fault.
important day for the Commodores. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
It's not your
Mr.
fault,
Chairman.
Senator.
Mr. Chairman.
I apologize to the chamber for making a mistake in not approving the motion. So can we clear this up by asking the chairman to repeat his motion?
Yes.
The chairman of the committee.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For Roy Vincent P. Trinidad to the rank of Commodore, and Alfonso F. Torres.
One by one, please.
Sorry.
One by one, please. Any objection? Hearing none, the motion is hereby approved.
And Alfonso F. Torres Jr. to the rank of Commodore.
Any objection? Hearing none, the motion is hereby approved. Thank you very
Mr.
much.
Chairman,
That is all.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Senator Ontiveros.
Thank you,
And
Mr.
then
Chair. I would just like to ascertain from the chair if my earlier manifestations of support for the confirmation of Commodore Trinidad and Commodore Torres are still included on the record of the committee, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, they are included. Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Senator Drilon.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Just for the record, the admission of our presiding officer that he committed a mistake is indeed a very rare happening. He is a seasoned parliamentarian, my class valedictorian. His mistake must have been because of the confusion in the House leadership that is presently ongoing. I hope, just to place that on record. Anyway, a parliamentary inquiry, Mr. Can would Congressman Ferrer make of record if Commodore Roy Vincent Trinidad is from Iligan City?
Chairman Ferrer.
Yes, sir. From Iligan City, sir.
Sorry. Opo daw po.
Is your mother my relative?
Yes, sir. My mother is your relative. She is Marisol Torrefranca Trinidad.
That's what I thought. So I just wanted to make that of record, but so that there is full disclosure. Thank you very much, Commodore Trinidad.
Thank you, Senator. Majority Leader.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. And before I move for our favorite motion of the day, I would like to congratulate all our nominees. Congratulations for your confirmation. And there being no other matters to discuss, Mr. Chair, I move that we adjourn this session.
Any objections? Hearing none, the session is now adjourned. Thank you very much.